Hello. It's me, your boy. Let me let everyone know I'm live so that they can fucking commence the. I already have mod view open, so I'm already ready for the fucking bot raids, but. Oh! Twitter was a fucking mistake. A fairy. That's that's how I'm bigged up like that now, where people really want to come in here and say first. That's pretty tight. Let me let everyone know I'm live. Magic City Murals, how you feeling? Oh, you were looking at Twitch? That's funny. Kuma, we playing Hunt Showdown tonight. Kathy, hey baby. Welcome, 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 everyone. We're going to talk about the freight rail workers who are potentially going to go on strike. I was going to watch the Alex Jones trial, but the fuck would I look like doing that after I made fun of everybody for watching the fucking Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial? So we're not going to do that. let's look at some funny stuff first. Because Twitter it's a night where I don't have an insane amount of notifications. So let's um oof. Shout out to Zero and Elite. King Hype, we lit. Alright, let's look at Twitter now that I actually got all those notifications out the way. Alright. We got Cracker Barrel. People having a normal one on Cracker Barrel's Facebook page because I guess Cracker Barrel just introduced Impossible Sausage to their menu. I'm not going to eat a fucking Cracker Barrel regardless. So here's a fun Cracker Barrel story for you guys. So my mother's sister, my mom's oldest sister, my Aunt Renee, she passed away a few years ago before COVID. I think my stepfather was still alive even. Anyway. You know, we go out to where she was to do the funeral, do the service, bury her, all that stuff. Just family members, basically me, my mom, her middle sister, and or rather the other middle sister, and my grandmother, her mom. We all went out to Cracker Barrel to eat after the service. And we're sitting in Cracker Barrel. Mind you, up until this point, I knew very, very little about my grandmother's childhood, right? And it was something I never even thought about. Like, conceptually, you think of people and you know that they were children at some point. But for whatever reason, in my, like, 27 years of existence on Earth, I had never thought to wonder what it was like for my grandmother to be a child, like what she actually did when she was a kid and all that stuff, right? So we're sitting in Cracker Barrel and she starts pointing at stuff. I use that. I remember that. I remember that. And I'm like, Grandma, what are you talking about? My grandmother, when she was 8 years old, picked cotton from sun up to sundown, 7 days a week, because she was the daughter of sharecroppers. Her mother was a sharecropper. Her mother's father was a slave, and her mother's father's father was also a slave, all in the same plantation she worked on. So that's 4 generations fucking trapped on this property from birth, forced into servitude on this property. I want to go out there to see it, just to catch a vibe, just to feel that energy, just to get that drive in me. I've looked at it on Google Earth a bunch, and it gives me chills every time. But, yeah, that's why I say fuck Cracker Barrel, because it just reminds me that my grandmother was a slave. What ended up happening was when she was like 10 or 11, Scottish. Yeah, Bowie plantation. Your family's former plantation is now a wedding plantation? Well, I could say what I really want to say about that type of shit, but it's probably TOS, so I'm going to keep it to myself. What state was this in? Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi, Copiah County. But they ended up running away. G shit. Real G shit. My great-grandfather, my grandmother's father, John Vaughn, G as fuck. To the point where he was just a scrapping ass nigga. Like, he had a stroke later in his life and was paralyzed in the left side of his body. And he used to keep a cinder block next to his rocking chair, so that if niggas still tried to try him, it didn't matter if he was paralyzed. He was going to stand up and fight you, but he was going to bust you in the fucking head with that cinder block. So one day, because John Vaughn, you know, he is working the fields and stuff, but his wife, my great-grandmother, Maddie Markham, my grandmother's mother, was she was a teacher, a school teacher. He used to teach teach all the other kids on the beat how to read and shit like that, which is why I have the literacy that I do. From the time that our family was allowed to be literate, it was always of crucial importance. Like, I mean, like passed down. Everyone in my mother's side of my family is just a reading ass motherfucker. It was extremely important. The owner of the plantation, the Scottish people, or no, I'm sorry, these weren't Scots. The Scottish people is my father's side. They own my father's side, my father's mother's side. These people, I believe, might have been German. But anyway, they might have also been Scottish too. But anyway, they come out, or the landlord comes out. It's like, I want Maddie in the field. My great grandfather is like, you shut the fuck up. She's a school teacher. She doesn't work in the field. You will get your money at the end of the month regardless. Get fucking quiet. Chill out. And it kept being a thing until finally one day he comes out. He says, John Vaughn, I told you I wanted Maddie out in this field. He pulls the double blicky, pulls the coach gun out, puts it to him, and says, motherfucker, if you take one more step towards my family, I'll blow your fucking head off. Right? The dude pisses himself and dips out. And my family, they packed up their bags and escaped off the plantation and under the cover of night that night, because there wasn't street lights or anything at the time. So they legit just packed up and dipped the fuck out and moved like 10, 15 miles away. And we're low-key fugitives at that point, because it was against the law to, if you were in debt to your landlord or you were a sharecropper or whatever, you could get thrown in fucking jail. You could be thrown in debtor's prison for that. But yeah. And that's where my grandmother grew up. My grandmother tells me stories about, you know, the wild shit they used to do as kids. They used to fucking throw water moccasins and they used to throw snakes, like dig snakes out of the mud to throw them at each other, like for fun as a prank. Because there's yellow belly water snakes, but the risk is if you get a moccasin, you're in fucking trouble. And it happened one time. She said somebody tried to pick up a snake and ended up being a moccasin that bit her on her thumb. And her thumb, she said, swelled up to the size of a fucking banana. But anyway, yeah, we got people having a normal one about this impossible sausage. Talking about, don't ever try to push that crap in my direction. Stick to the basics that made your franchise a success. Yeah, a breakfast? Yeah, imagine that. Are you kidding me? Who do you think your customer base is? I still order the double meat breakfast, and it's not even on the menu anymore. It's still wild to me that take India, for example. Like, a country like India has like 20 to 25% of its population be vegetarian, and it's only like 5% here in America, to the point where not only do companies not cater to vegans or vegetarians, but when they do, with like one fucking menu item, then all the other carnivores are like, wow, woke, go broke. Time for me to stop eating the same breakfast that you have that I've loved for 30, 40, 50 fucking years because you added one meatless option to your menu. Crazy, right? American as fuck. You just lost the customer base. Congratulations on being woke and going broke. Yeah, that's what Twitter is. Rich Scottish ancestors, we got sent straight to Appalachia after our indentured servitude was up, and we are still there and poor as fuck, LMAO. Yeah, so the Urquharts, my dad's father's side of my family is the Urquharts. Because we're slaves, we don't spell it like that, though. The Urquharts, they actually still have this fucking castle, I think. Let me look it up. I wanted to go here, too. just to catch a vibe as well. But here it is, Urquhart Castle. From the Highlands. The people that owned my family were from the Highlands. They came here. I think that the way that they spelled it when they came here was Urquhardt, because my family are slaves and slaves are illiterate. The way that the way that my father's mother spelled it, the way that my grandmother spelled it, that the family the direct lineage that I am from, it was spelled Erkhart. But when we went to the family reunion a few years ago, most of them spelled it Erkard, Urquhart. And there was people that spelled it Erkhard, Urquhart. And there was just, people that spelled it Erkart with a T. Like, it's one of those things that you question it and you don't really understand it, but then you're like, oh, slavery. Makes sense. You're from Kentucky? Yeah, that's where my family is. That's where the Rucker's from. My last name is Rucker. I'm not really doxing myself. Crazy. Yeah, Ruhan. Shit's crazy. You're only 29? Just poor? I feel it. Shout out Caribbeans who are vegan. They're the only, like, if you've not had, like, some good fucking Caribbean vegan food, like some Caribbean jerk chicken or, like, some vegan jerk chicken or like some vegan stir fry or vegan barbecue or something like that, like some vegan curry goat, something like that, you're truly missing out, like in a way that I can't even describe to you. You just got to try it for yourself. It's some of the best food I've ever had. It's actually part of what made me more like amenable to vegan food, because like most Americans, I'm like, vegan food, just the phrase vegan food is like, oh, you imagine like fucking like, like rabbit food, like fucking lettuce and like hamster pellets and shit. But like real vegan food, like real vegans that know how to get down in the kitchen and do some real ass cooking, they'll fuck you up. They might even fuck around, have you eating vegan shit you don't even know is vegan. That's what happened to me. Purple soda, y'all. I don't have any current family in Kentucky, but yeah, it should. When I say this place, it's going to be obvious. Remember, I said my last name was Rucker. They're from Ruckersville. The Ruckers were some famous, not famous, but Peter Rucker was a Huguenot, or he came here with the Huguenots from like Alsace-Lorraine, like French Bavaria area of Germany, like French Germany, in the late 1700s. And the folklore is that his shipwrecked like 3 miles off the coast of Virginia, and he had to float to the beach on nothing but a bottle of a giant cask of brandy and nothing but the clothes on his back. And he had himself some kids, and eventually those kids grew up and bought themselves some slaves. They were in Orange, Virginia, which is now, I forget what that place is called now, but they spread out into the South, of course, as more opportunity to acquire land and such appeared. And yeah, they had their slaves, and they were the Ruckers. That's how I'm related to Darius Rucker. The Ruckers that own his family were in South Carolina, but the Ruckers that own my family were in Kentucky. Jerk anything is tough, Wooly. Your surname is Scott, right on. Used to work at Mickey D's. A veggie burger was really just a quarter pounder with no patty. That's funny. Beans and mushrooms are the MVP. Lentils, like I had a vegan girlfriend like 5-6 years ago that put me on to the vegan lentils, or vegan lentils. Like there's non-vegan there's carnivorous lentils. There's meat lentils. But nah, lentils are like, if you hit them up right, they can be good too. Like some lentils and some rice. Mushrooms are the MVP too. I fuck with my drummer in my first band that I tweeted. He was vegan. I don't know if he's still vegan, but he was vegan when we were playing music. And whenever we went to his house to practice and spend the night and watch horror movies to write songs about and stuff, he would make us. His mom would make us vegan food, or his dad would bring us vegan food from the restaurant they owned. And his mom one time made these like portobello mushroom burgers. Like it was a cheeseburger, but instead of a burger patty, it was just a grilled portobello mushroom with like lettuce and tomato and like vegan bacon. Oh my fucking God. When I tell you that my attitude on vegan shit was completely changed after that meal. It was nuts. The video where Anderson Cooper found out his great-great-grandfather's cause of death, wasn't he the dude that got like beaten to death by slaves or something? Newport's chill. My vegan girlfriend got me hooked on lentils. Facts. She truly did. Oh, you didn't follow me. It's all good. Zero Elite. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Beaten by slaves, yeah, that shit was hilarious. And I'm vaguely familiar with New Orleans. I've only been to Cincinnati one time when I was a real little kid. My dad took me to Dave and Buster's out there when I was like 8 years old. The slaves were hanged with no trial. That's not surprising. What else was? Oh yeah, this is Alex Jones. Let's see what this Alex Jones shit is.
And it said you didn't. And it said you. So you did get my text messages. And it said you didn't. Nice trick.
Yes, Mr. Jones.
Oh.
Indeed. You didn't give this text message to me. You don't know where this came from. Do you know where I got this?
No.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
Ooh!
See, I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then...
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
Ooh!
No, I didn't know this happened. But I mean, I told you I gave them the phone over. Just
Just
And you
answer the
said,
question.
you said in your deposition.
Oh, she's giving him the Karen.
You said you pulled down the text, did the search function for Sandy Hook. That's what you said, Mr. Jones, correct?
And I had several different phones with this number, but I did, yeah.
My man's trying to pull that.
No, Mr. Jones, that's not what happened.
My lawyer sent it to you, but I'm hiding it. Okay.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, that?
please just answer questions.
Yo!
Bankston also only asks questions.
Sure. Mr. Jones, in discovery, you were asked, do you have Sandy Hook text messages on your phone? And you said no, correct? You said that under oath.
I mean, if I was mistaken, I was mistaken, but you got the messages right there.
Yeah, hold up. We gotta see the look on the judge's face. Look.
If I was mistaken, I was
Look.
mistaken, but you-
Yo!
I mean, if I was mistaken, I was mistaken, but you got the messages right there.
You know. I just want to make sure you know before we go any further. You know what it is.
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm not a tech guy. I told you I gave
I'm not a tech guy.
the phone to the lawyers before, whatever, and so you got my phone, but we didn't give it to you.
No, Mr. Jones. One more time.
I did see that, SW.
You can. I mean, I know you can do that. But you testified.
Oh my God, that's too good. But yeah, I did hear that he had the good old KP on his phone. I thought that came out a couple years ago though. Also, welcome to the stream, SW. I am on YouTube. I am streaming on YouTube as well. So many breweries. That's funny. Oh yeah, Jones is going to debt fucking casitis. Jones is going to the lowest layer of debt hell. Alex Jones committed an Alex Gate. They played for the jury today what Jones called the jury on his show earlier this week. That's funny. Because Hassan was talking about that. He beat a defamation charge. He beat a defamation case, and then the same night turned around to like call the judge and the jury all pedophiles and shit. It's like it's like it'd be like if you beat a vehicular manslaughter charge and then immediately after trial you tried to fucking run the judge over and the judge's son. Like, I'll teach you to fucking accuse me of running people over. Oh my god. Nah, I don't really need AC in here. The AC is in my room. We had this conversation last time where it's like my room is at the one end of the hall and this room is at the other end of the hall. I can only have the one AC in either of the two rooms, and I'm not lugging it back and forth. So I put it in my room because in here, there's a 0 chance of me fucking in here. But in my room, there's a non-zero chance of me doing some fucking in there. So I'd like it to be cool in there. And on that note, I just remembered that I have my my comforter in the dryer because I just washed my sheets. So I gotta get those out of the dryer in a minute. But if everyone he meets is a pedo, maybe that says something about him. Maybe it does. J6 committee is prepping a subpoena for his Texan data too. I can't wait to see that one. Alex Jones is the ultimate pedo jacketer? Yeah, fuck yeah. I would say either him or like he's the ultimate pedo jacketer, or maybe like David Icke. Isolating fan? I'm thinking about that. I was gonna get 2 fans and then like put one in the hallway so it blows the cold air from my room this way, and then just get another one here just to blow directly on me. But let's get into what you all actually came here for, the title of the video, before we get into the Hunt Showdown. So, oh my god. I dropped the guitar pick I used a scrape keef out of my grinder with. So, it's Vice, I know. But oscillating, nah. I didn't. It's cool, Catherine. I didn't. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, we're getting it going with the hate raids already. Why is this? Hello, Mr. Gazebo Troll. Are you floof by chance? Okay, so you can see that. You saw that then. Okay. I thought it was Zonia. I'm like 99% sure it's Zonia doing this shit. And if it's not, she's made up way goofier shit about me. Talking about I'm a sexual, like I sexually fucking harassed Stardust and shit. So, yeah. They were just in US A-Hole's stream? Oh. There's like 70 of these trolls? Yeah. It fits with a person. She's done it before. Zonia's done it before. So it's like... I didn't even know who the fuck she was until like 2 weeks ago. Trolling, yeah. You're racist to Comrade Cunny. I don't know who that... I see, and that's the other thing, is I don't know who a lot of these people are. That's what's fucked up, is like... That's how I get fucked up that's how I got fucked up in the beginning because I would legit just be like, oh, they have leftist in their bio. Cool. Let me follow them. And it would be Sansol. So, like, I didn't realize that SOCDEM was just what you call yourself when you want to wrap yourself in radical politics to make yourself seem more interesting than you actually are, but you refuse to actually read any theory or get involved in politics in any meaningful way. So you just say that you're like a Democrat, that Democrat's a little bit harder than other Democrats. Freight rail workers voted to strike. Here's why they can't yet, which is like such a wild thing to like, you know what I mean? Unlike most strikes, the federal government has to allow freight rail workers to strike. Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of a strike? I don't know. Comrade Kenny's a streamer who denied the Uyghur genocide, not in the semi-logical way, but in the deeply Islamophobic way. And when I confronted him, he instantly banned me. See, and that's why that's just such like a landmine. You know what I mean? Because like there's us discussing Uyghurs, whether that's happening or not. I have no fucking clue. I've never been to China. I don't know any Uyghurs. I don't know none of that shit. Nothing. I don't trust any of the media that I see that comes out of there, Chinese or American. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just something I don't even think about. If it is happening, I feel deeply for those people, and you know, I hope they see justice. But like, I don't care. It's just like with the Ukraine thing, where it's like, I know there's a Ukrainian word for nigger. You know what I mean? So like, why am I supposed to care? And that's not to say that they deserve what's happening to them. It's just to say, I pass a tent city to and from my way to work every fucking day. Why do I give a fuck about some blue-eyed, blonde-haired kids on the other side of the fucking world? Right? Solidarity, working class, and proletariat, and global proletariat, and all that stuff, and that's cool. But, yeah. Floof abuses endless. Interesting. Rye 80 said, Tankies denying cultural genocide. It's like Tuesday for them. I mean, so I'm very reluctant to use the term tanky too, just because of how most people on this platform use it as a slur for anyone left of them, when that word has a very distinct definition. And like Stardust called me a tanky once, which was the funniest shit in the world because I'm literally an abolitionist. Like, I'm literally a fucking black anarchist, and she called me a tanky because she doesn't understand politics. There's racial slurs for everyone in almost any language, yeah. But anti-black slurs are obviously what I'm most concerned about. When a group is so massively politicized in a region without quote-unquote free media, it's difficult as fuck to tell the truth about it. Yeah, that's why it's just out of sight, out of mind for me. Because even if I knew the truth, what the fuck am I really going to do about it? Use it for people who play apologetics for authoritarianism of post-Soviet authoritarian states. Okay, so you're using it correctly. Even present unitary governments that brand themselves communists, you're using the term tanky correctly then. Okay, cool. Because, like, that irritates the fuck out of me sometimes, where people will call someone, like, a tanky just because they want to abolish the police. Stardust builds bridges with Nazis. Does that make her a Stalinist? That's funny. She has a Ribbentrop Molotov pact with Richard Spencer. Hey, mods in chat. Jungle Bunny, best slur. I fuck with Jungle Bunny. I do fuck with Jungle Bunny. Make endless, whoever this is watching me now, make endless niggatary again. Because endless niggatary was a good one. Can you do me a favor? Can you do that one? Can you drop me a follow bot named endless niggatary again? Yeah, like people, like dumbass, like sock dems and shit on here. They will call you a tanky for doing anything other than just parroting fucking State Department propaganda. Apparently, Nick Fuentes is in love with her now. He said some crazy shit on his stream. Fetish shit, of course. I'm the bad guy though for talking about that shit. I'm the one. I'm sexually harassing her for talking about it. Nick Fuentes is literally doing the fucking thing on his stream, and he's probably going to be on Chaos Cast in 2 fucking days, right? But I point out that fascists do that to her, and suddenly I'm sexually harassing her. This is how fucking brain dead her and fucking Zonia are. The follow bots are so juvenile, it's like preschool, but with added slurs. I mean, that's what's so crazy. Is Zonia is like 50 fucking years old. Zonia is old enough to be a fucking grandmother, and she's on Twitch doing weird ass shit like this. Anyway, Freight, where I'm evil. He said he wants her to trap him in an Indian pyramids or some shit and force her to marry. He said he wants to trap her. He said he wants her to trap him in an Indian pyramid or some shit and force him to marry. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. And I bet you he's going to be on, if not this Friday, he'll be on Chaos Cast again soon. Or the Nick Fuentes interview is coming up. Or debate or whatever. You're okay with brain dead as a term? I feel it. I've tried to dial back. Like, I removed the term spaz from my vocabulary. I try not to refer to... I will say crazy just because I'm a nigger from Baltimore. Be like, damn, that's crazy. But I try not to refer to people as crazy to dismiss them. I've never been a fan of that. Broken Clock, since I watched Dave Chappelle talk about how dismissive calling someone crazy is. I didn't like it since then, but then I, of course, gained knowledge in the ableist language and so on and so forth. I don't think so. So I think where possible, we should curtail our language, right, 87? Like, when you know better, you do better. That's basically the metric I have. So, like, when I'm on the dock, right, and say, for example, someone on the dock's calling me an F slur or something like that, like, I'm not gonna fucking pearl clutch on the spot. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like you meet people where they're at, and yeah. Oh, so Fairy, someone actually fucking. Oh man, this has to be someone related to Polly. Zero, because. Either someone related to Polly or someone that follows you on Twitter. But, what was I just about to say? You got scolded for calling Alex Jones crazy? Is that silly? I mean, for me, it's just like there's so many better and more fitting words to call him. I probably wouldn't, like, woke scold you for calling him crazy, but I wouldn't do that myself. Fairy, what? I can't remember what I just did. Anyway, your mom decided to finally listen to a singular black person, and it was Dave Chappelle. Jesus Christ. Listen Cephaly. I actually got in trouble. Fluff pulled me up because I would say smooth brain all the time. And he was like, it's actually really fucked up to call people smooth brain because Listen Cephaly exists. Yeah, trying to meet people where they're at. You know, with the slurs and the language and stuff. Like, Fred Hampton said, like, you know, Fred Hampton said it best. Like, working class people cuss, like they do, and a lot of that stuff to them, like, and you know, okay. At the risk of being seen as legitimizing or excusing the shit, because I'm absolutely not, as I stated earlier in this conversation, when you know better, you do better, right? But a lot of these people just see those words as bad words, right? Memes, like the N-word, the F slur, the R slur. It's just bad words that are fun to say because you're not supposed to say them. No context beyond that. And you have to give them that context because a lot of the times, especially like the people that I work with, they're at work all fucking day. They don't have the time or the ability to go to a fucking gay bar and like meet a trans woman or something like that. Or like watch fucking, you know, watch me or watch Critical Ace Theory or watch Arun or watch fucking Willow or someone on Twitch, right? They just don't have that kind of time. This has to be someone that, like, I don't know Polly like that, so I'm reluctant to like, but and if Polly has a problem with me saying this, we can have a conversation about it. But like, this specifically in this specific raid is way too specific. Way too specific. It's just like with the shit with the raids of me and Arun. Like, this has to be someone who was in Polly's server or something. You don't think it's Polly? No, I'm not saying I think it's Polly. It's got to be someone from that server, though. Or someone who follows you on Twitter. It's someone from way back. Okay, I apologize to Polly then. I don't want to throw dirt on her name or anything like that. I respect Polly. Polly had a whole stream yesterday talking about how people shouldn't do this and how people do this to her. Oh, I'm sure. You know, she probably gets all kind of fucking hate raids. Black people, trans women, it's a thing. Shout out to Polly people. Follow her if you aren't already. Feces will never be oppressed, therefore anyone can and should say shit. Polly's a fucking hypocrite who I want to like Polly too, but her take on the hippy dippy shit, her take on the Nine Tails shit was a little weird, but I didn't want to push back too hard on it because the trans issues is out of my lane, right? I can analogize and compare it to anti-blackness because if you replaced trans with black and all of the shit that Nine Tails was saying, dead bang, right? Bang on. So that's why I agreed with her. But, you know, Polly disagreed with Nine Tails, and I wasn't going to push too hard because, like I said, the trans issue stuff, I'm a person who is very reluctant to step outside of his knowledge and experience, unlike a lot of fucking people on Twitch. But, you know, if I can analogize, then I'll definitely at least engage in some level of conversation. But I always defer to people, unless I can tell people are being obviously fucking bad faith. Like, you know, you have your Hoff twins and your fucking Candace Owenses and so on and so forth. But I feel like, generally speaking, those people are kind of rare. Black trans women are the fucking goats of activism. Always have been. Always have been. Big Richie Lizzie. Tegma, you want to hop on some Showdown after this? People do Twitch karaoke. They do. Coincidentally, ironically, that's what Stardust used to do. Stardust used to do Twitch karaoke. And I wish she would have stuck to that because the shit she's doing now is giving me fucking cancer. Trans people are the dominant scapegoat right now, so people should be careful with how they talk. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember 9/11 and how Muslim people, or really just anyone coded that could be coded Muslim, because white people are fucking stupid and racist. So like even like Sikhs and fucking Hindi people and stuff like that. They got demoted, you know what I'm saying? They became honorary niggas after 9/11. And I'm seeing the same thing kind of play out right now, where you have people like Samantha Banana who are white supremacists at their core, and their frustration comes from the fact that they're supposed to get these benefits from the system that they were born into, but as a consequence of their identity, they're denied those benefits, so they blame everyone else instead of trying to attack the system itself. But beyond that, you have, like white trans people who are connecting to have some kind of solidarity with people like me, because as stated previously, all of the shit that we perceive as fucked up and ugly that is being suddenly done to trans people is shit that's been happening to black people forever, including black trans women, right? Black trans women, least protected and fucking the most endangered demographic of people in the entire country. Aside from like indigenous women, you know what I mean? And that's not to say there's oppression Olympics or anything like that, but to say that there are specific individuals, culturally, socially in this country, that when you hear about them getting killed, you have a very different reaction to other people when you hear about them getting killed, especially when it's being killed or any other things by police. And that's if you even hear about it. So ableism is like the deepest layer of the onion, and there's transphobia, then homophobia, then racism and sexism. Roughly speaking, even deeper than ableism is classism. Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd necessarily... I would say that it's like a railroad where all of those different things intersect in one way or another. But I wouldn't necessarily know if I would use an onion as a proper analogy for that. Just because I'm uncomfortable doing any type of class reductionism. Because whiteness and blackness are their own classes that are influenced by race. Race itself being made up. A social concept, just like gender. Somehow it's neopronouns that are causing systematic transphobia. Like, get the fuck out of here. Damn, yeah. If you ask fucking Sansol, it's the same game they played on trans versus LGBT. Yeah, they're doing the same shit. I don't know if you guys saw Demi Lovato. Fucking Demi Lovato. Is changing pronouns. They're switching back and forth between she and they. You know, they describe themselves as gender fluid, but like the true scums and shit are all like, wow, you got to pick one. Like blah, blah, blah. Basically, like pointing out that it's privilege to just decide that you can be like, okay. The tweet that I actually read was that the gender fandom is not the same as actual queer people, because celebrities and stuff like that can like go on a tour, just like go on gender tourism and just decide that they're non-binary and then come back whenever they feel like it in a year. And I mean, to that I say, who cares? Like, the whole point of gender is that it's socially constructed. That's number one. Number two, I'm not going to have remotely the same take as fucking Blair White on that. Blair White talking about... hold on. Let me see what Blair White shared about this fucking... Cause I'll just show it to you guys, because it was absolutely fucking stupid. Says Demi Lovato is now detransitioning, which she is not. She's literally just changing her pronouns, which for her means switching pronouns again. Many kids she helped to misinform about transgenderism are not as lucky and won't make it out without missing a body part. So again, we're just spreading this propaganda that, you know, all this gender theory and like critical theory about like gender and all that stuff. Really, they just want to cut your kids' dicks off and fuck them in a booty hole. Trans be honorary niggas. This person is going ham. Zonia must have took her fucking... Damn. Likely ban evader. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get you the fuck out of here. So, Zonia must be busy. She must have took her Metamucil tonight. She took extra doses of her Adderall. Yeah. Horny-rary. Demi Lovato is detransitioning. Yeah. Marginalization. Yeah. Fuck Sansol. Yeah. Let's get some. I'm gonna make this a hashtag. I'm gonna make the hashtag Sansol get a job a thing. It's gonna happen. Fucking Jenners and Lovatos are not a good role model. I feel like there's some cool, like, because the other thing is, like, yet again, it comes into this intersection of class, right? Trans people, especially black trans people, are not particularly in the highest of classes. So their access to being seen in media and stuff is very limited. It's the same thing with black people. Like, for every fucking John Boyega or like Boots Riley we have 10 Dave Chappelles. You know what I mean? Sansol was never sincere. That's the crazy part. Sansol has spent his entire fucking time on this platform just trying to get famous, doing and saying whatever he thinks will help him in that regard. But let's finish up this conversation about the freight rail workers strike. Because here's the thing, right? This is what happens. This is why it's stupid when white people talk about how they wanted to be leftists, but the super woke people and the woke scolds push them back on the right. It's because they were never on the left. They were right the whole time. Because the way that they viewed this shit is as a club, right? That's why they talk about us weaponizing our identities. Not that we have specific experiences to us that are unique to the classes that we occupy because of our skin color or our gender identity or whatever. It's just that we have those identities and we have cool stories and we can clap other people and silence dissent by just throwing our identities out there, right? Excuse me, Sweaty, you challenging me is racism, right? Stardust effect. If you say anything that challenges her, you're a misogynist, right? That's how they view these identities. So Sansol did what he thought was the necessary initiation into the club. He paid lip service to the issues that we talk about, right? Did all that stuff. It's just like the N-word thing. Motherfuckers think that all the times that they didn't say the N-word gives them, it's like they were building a meter for when they finally can say it, right? It's bullshit. These people are not leftists. They're not even liberals. Their political position is apathy. Because they don't know anything about politics. Hang on, cats are fighting. Hey. Tina 2 hates you? That's wild. What'd you do to Tina 2? Yeah, Zero's brand new. Just white people being white nationalists, yeah. Just wait and clip it and ship it, yeah. All right, let's talk about this and then we can play some Hunt together. Freight rail workers are on the verge of striking for better pay and working conditions, a move that would cap years of stalled negotiations. In a recent vote, 99.5% of the members of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, a union leading a coalition of freight rail workers in negotiations, authorized the strike. So 99.5% of the fucking they want to go on strike. That is going to happen. It was simply a matter of management versus labor. A strike would likely already have started. If it was simply a matter of management versus labor, a strike would likely already have started. But rail workers occupy a peculiar area of labor law, one governed by a century-old federal law that gives Congress and the president wide powers to avert strikes, even though this labor remains the most powerful threat workers have to get better wages and working conditions. So it's not even the most powerful weapon. It's like low-key the only weapon. They could do slowdowns and stuff like that, but they would really just put their own personal jobs at risk more so than actually affecting the change that they would want through just work stoppage. They don't like being called out for ableism? Not at all. No, they don't. They love the R slur. It's like calling someone a TERF. Yeah, absolutely. It's like it's like calling someone a covert white supremacist or like crypto-fash or calling someone a liberal. They don't want to hear this shit. A lot of these people have literally built brands on being correct. Motherfuckers like Wick and Bryce and these other fucking pseudo-intellectuals. Motherfucker literally has polymath in his bio. They're fucking like charlatans. So of course they're not going to want to hear anything different, especially not from people that they look down upon. A lowly black person like me with no following, right? Came out of nowhere to call you a Nazi sympathizer because you let Richard Spencer JQ on your platform with no rebuttal. Lump God, real nigga in the house. Didn't Wick have a crazy show on Friday or something? I don't know. The only thing I really know about Wick is that someone fucking invited me into a server that ended up being his. And like Samantha Banana and a bunch of other fucking weird ass right wingers were in there mad as shit. They try to dogpile me. They're like, heh, heh, endless. You have no power here. And I was like, actually, I have the ultimate power. Here, let me demonstrate it for you. And I just left the server and went back to work because I have a job and a life. I fuck with Corey Campbell heavy. I don't know a whole lot about Corey Campbell. I just know he likes my tweets a lot, so I like him. Daddy. They just double down and find it funny? Yeah. They're like, they'll say the N-word, and then when you call them racist, they'll be like, heh, this guy thinks I'm racist. 50 likes. 30 retweets, and then you get like 50 fucking quote tweets of people you calling you the R slur. It's like the most transparently fucking weird Nazi shit. Like, if people were doing this shit on Stormfront or like fucking like 4chan during like peak Nazi days, it would be right at home. It would fit right in. You know what I mean? That's what's so weird about fucking people. This is what's weird to me about Polly. Is because her take is that it doesn't matter that we're handing a microphone to the Nazis because she also gets the microphone. And it's like, what fucking good does it do you if you get to speak with the white supremacist, but you get to speak at a fucking Klan rally? And before you go out to speak, they dress you up in clown makeup. Because that's what the hippy dippy is. It's weird as fuck to me. But like I said, I respect Polly, so. Corey's a scientist lefty who manages to simultaneously be polite and extremely hard to debate. That's cool. In a good way, that is cool. The ultimate power here, yeah. Micro celeb. Is Polly a micro celeb? I didn't know who she was till recently. Makes you seem comparable, yeah. Anyway, let's continue with this. She acts like it. Well, I mean, you kind of have to, though. You know what I mean? Well, let me put it this way. If your goal is mass appeal, you know, you dress for the job you want, not the job you have, right? So if you want to be a micro celeb in the space, which is, you know, more power to her, I'm sure she would have a lot to say that's very insightful, very good. You know, that trans perspective is we need more of that, you know what I mean? But yeah, if that's what she's going for, then it makes sense that she would be preparing herself and already in that mindset, you know what I mean? You've been treated like shit in her chat, you took it just fine until she went full tilt ableist. I feel that. Like me, you see my vibe in here. My vibe is just chill vibes. I just want to chill. I just want to be like, I'm on like Hassan time in here. Where I'm like, if I do blow up like that, I'll be a reluctant celebrity. I would much like right now, aside from the money thing, because I would love to be able to quit my job and do streaming full time. Right now, I think is perfect. Like my community right now is based as fuck. Some of the coolest people that I've seen on this fucking platform are people that come into my chat. I've seen in people like Maudi's Discord and stuff. Shout out to Maudi. But you know, there's amazing fucking content creators and chatters and mods and stuff that are I'm in that ecosystem now. So yeah, it did improve since you got here, Zero Elite. But and that's just the people from online. Like there's people I know in real life and stuff that watch my stream and follow my stream now and are into it. And that's after doing this shit for years and years and have to literally fucking beg my friends in real life to at least fucking leave a tab open for me. You know what I mean? And now it's at the point where there's enough people in here and we can all converse and actually make shit interesting and cool stuff happens. But let's continue with this labor strike stuff. This is really long, actually. All right, here we go. The situation is complicated and is still far from certain what will happen next, but should a strike actually take place, it would have a huge impact on the American economy, which is exactly why the government will try to avoid it. What up, Fade? Yeah, we hopping on with Tegma tonight. Shout out to Tegma TV. Several issues that have been bubbling for a long time are finally coming to a head. The railroads and unions have been negotiating a new contract since 2019. The various unions representing freight rail workers generally bargain as a coalition against the biggest rail carriers in the country. Only one, Canadian Pacific, is negotiating entirely separately. Years of negotiation, interrupted for a period by a global pandemic, have yielded little agreement. How long you take it to send? How long you think it'll take them to send in the National Guard? Fade Runner, did I or did I not say that on the doc earlier today? Did I or did I not say Joe Brandon was going to send the fucking National Guard in? I called that shit, did I? If we're putting an actual timetable on it, I'd say 6 months. If they actually go on strike, Pauly lied about floof. Dog, this is Zonia, dog. Zonia or floof. But anyway, not to get distracted. If they go through with the strike, if negotiations don't go the way that they should, I see the rail workers saying, fuck the laws, we're going on strike. And Joe Brandon immediately, and I mean immediately, sends the National Guard in within the next 6 months, yeah. Zonia, you need to make yourself a nice mug of warm milk, take your fucking readers and your moo-moo off, and go the fuck to sleep. Go the fuck to sleep. It's past your bedtime. You got bingo in the morning. Anyway. Check your recent posts. Word. I see your pinned tweet. Okay, yeah, I saw, Yo, Austin, what up? In chat. YTP? What's YTP? Oh, YouTube. Okay. Oh, YouTube poop. That's funny. Word. We might check it out after this. YTP is the best of YouTube condensed into comment. Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with YouTube poop. I like the .exes too, like the what was it? What was his name? Waka Flocka .exe, where it's just him going bow 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 like over and over again. That shit was hilarious. All right, let's continue. Several issues that have been bubbling for a long time are finally coming to a head. Oh, I already read that. Since the contract ended, wages have not budged while negotiations are underway. Raises agreed to in a new contract will be retroactive to when the old contract expired, but the parties are far apart on what those raises would be. According to the Transportation Trades Department, a group that represents among others the 13 rail worker unions involved in negotiations, the unions proposed an increase of 31.2% over 5 years, while the railroads reportedly want 17%. Of course, they want half of what they're fucking asking for. Flaccavelli was ahead of its time. Yeah, I think Dennis Prager is on his last legs. I can't wait to smoke that pack. That's going to get me high as fuck. Pack watch, Dennis Prager edition. About to smoke them Dennis Prager cookies. You feel me? About to smoke that Dennis Prager runts. I'm fucking with it. Healthcare is also a sticking point. The unions are basically after the status quo, but the railroads want employees to pay a bigger share of the costs. They're literally railroad workers, dog. Do you want them to pay for their own fucking healthcare? Are you insane? According to Railway Age contributing writer Frank Wilner, employees contribute $228.89 monthly towards their coverage, regardless of family size, while the employers pay about $1,600. The railroads want employees to be paying more, especially employees with families. That makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. But the biggest issues have to do with working conditions. Broadly, workers feel the railroads, responding to investor demands, are exploiting their workers and customers for the sake of ever-increasing profits. Workers have been asked to do more with less, which they say is making the railroads less safe, because, of course, that's how this always works. A podcast that my housemate put me on, Robbie, my podcast co-host, coincidentally, he put me on to a podcast called There's Your Problem that talks specifically about these kinds of issues through the lens of anti-capitalism and how capitalist greed inevitably makes these types of industries less and less safe, and then expects the employees working in unsafe conditions to pay for their own health care. I've never ridden on the freight train. I'm from Baltimore, so I'm a Death Fest head. So I've met Oogles. One of my my roommate, the last house I was in was on like some Oogle time. Like, I know people that have ridden freight trains, and they talk about how fucked up it is. And the neighborhood that I lived in used to have freight trains coming through all the time. I grew up right next to the Thomas Viaduct, which is like the second oldest fucking stone spanning train bridge in the world. You know what I mean? CSX still uses it. That bitch was built in 1835. It was built 5 years after fucking Nat Turner did his thing. You know what I mean? I have a series on Baltimore landmarks that I'm putting out. Is that something you guys would be interested in? You guys want to hear me talk about some cool Baltimore landmarks with some cool Baltimore history and Baltimore lore? Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. I already have it planned. I already have scripts written, so it's coming out whether you want it or not. But I just want to know how much the demand is. Anyway. New attendance policies make working for the railroad a living hell. And shippers who send goods along the rail are equally fed up with the railroads for degrading service standards, a result of the same cost-cutting measures workers are angered by. The railroads are also pushing for one-person train crews on many routes, saying the second person is no longer necessary with modern technology and will enable them to compete with hypothetical driverless trucks, a contention many workers disagree with and say will make the railroad less safe and service even worse. Meanwhile, the railroad companies report recording record earnings and profits naturally. Fucking ridiculous. So, driverless trucks aren't even fucking out yet. I don't even think they're in beta yet. Like, the word hypothetical is in parentheses before driverless trucks. They literally just don't want to pay a second person. That's it. The technology is not there. They just are saying that because they don't want to pay a second person. Yeah, go for it, Zero. Sure. For their part, the railroads say none of the workers' concerns are legitimate, that safety is as good as it's ever been. Of course they're going to say that. Who are you going to believe? When someone says that the conditions are unsafe, who are you going to believe? The workers who have to be in that bitch every fucking day? Or the fucking CEOs and fucking media team who are probably working remotely and have been since 2020? That there may be isolated service problems, but broadly service standards are high and everything is fine. Insofar as there is a problem, the railroads blame crew shortages due to pandemic-related reasons, not from slashing more than 25% of the industry's workforce in the years prior to the pandemic. That's so fucking nuts. So although there are specific issues at play, they are in service of a broader feeling among the workforce that management has created a toxic workplace, in the words of BLET President Dennis Pierce, to pad the bottom line. There is anger and frustration. They've been forced to work through the pandemic as essential workers only to be infantilized with even more draconian attendance policies, which is why the workers have overwhelmingly voted to authorize a strike. But they cannot strike. Not yet, at least. And the reason is because the federal government considered railroad workers essential long before the pandemic. To such a degree, it felt the need to intervene in labor disputes. And I called it. This is going to be Blair Mountain Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, right? These railroad workers are going to get tired of being covered in soot, fucking getting injured, having to pay out the nose for fucking healthcare, all this shit. They're going to go on strike, whether they're allowed to or not. It's going to be a wildcat strike. And Joe Brandon is going to send the fucking National Guard in to say, clean this shit up, right? That's how this works. That's why there's already federal laws on it. And speaking of Blair Mountain, my birthday is in 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll be seeing you guys here. Same time, same place. But in order to understand what the federal government's deal in all this is, we have to go back in time to the late 19th century. One of the most dire periods for worker rights in the history of capitalism. The BLET is one of the oldest labor unions in the world, formed in 1863 amidst one of the most exploitative industries on the planet. About 4 in every 1,000 workers died each year on the job, meaning a worker over a 20-year career would have an 8% chance of dying on the job, little different than a game of Russian roulette with a 12-chamber revolver. That's so fucking nuts. Tens of thousands more were injured every year, often suffering debilitating injuries like losing a limb or getting paralyzed, with little or no protection or insurance. The two most dangerous jobs in the U.S. at the time were working in the railroads and coal mines. Remember we said Blair Mountain? Many of the risks stemmed from railroad management themselves. The companies simply did not care about the workers, who were largely perceived as expendable. Unions were formed in large part as a response not just to wage exploitation, but also to force safety improvements. The 1870s and 1880s were a period of tremendous labor strife due to massive inequality and a series of economic panics where companies demanded workers take massive wage cuts to compensate for losses from rampant financial speculation. But the railroads were the epicenter. In this era, before cars and trucks, railroads were the way to move people and goods across land, so workers had ample leverage. When railroad workers went on strike, it had a huge ripple effect across the economy. And I can tell you absolutely, the town I grew up in, Relay, where the Thomas Viaduct is, had the first telegraph pole sunk into the ground in the entire world, right? So if the train was fucked up, then people are going to know about it, just like now. Like me, my job, if all the people with my job title called out of work tomorrow, the consequences would be insane. Utterly insane. If all the freight handlers stop going to work tomorrow, a lot of people will probably die. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. But yeah, This, of course, was the whole point of workers going on strike, to exert leverage as essential workers to society and be treated as such. Strikes were also different to what they are today, violent affairs in which both sides literally tried to starve or beat resistance out of the other. But many federal judges and government officials at the time believed it ought to be illegal for any worker anywhere to strike, especially railroad workers. Of course they did. In several cases, including the 1894 Pullman strike, federal troops were dispatched to end hostilities. And the reason why I called the National Guard getting sent in and why some dumb brought it up is not because we're psychic or we have any special political insight or we have like galaxy brain takes on this. We're literally just assuming they're going to do what they've done every single other fucking time this has happened before in this country. Because this is not the first time this has happened. Congress attempted multiple methods of resolving labor disputes without these mini wars, including but not limited to the Arbitration Act of 1888, the Erdman Act of 1898, the Newlands Act of 1913, and the Esch-Cummins Act of 1920. The idea behind all of them was to create some kind of mediation or arbitration procedure where a third party will resolve disputes before strikes took place. They were all varying degrees of failures, as evidenced by the frequency of labor disputes and strikes in the early 20th century, culminating in the Great Railroad Strike of 1922, which lasted for 1 month and collapsed after a conservative judge issued an injunction against union action. Go figure. But in 1926, Congress passed the Railway Labor Act. This one stuck, getting slightly amended in 1934 and 1966, and is still in effect. And this is the law that is affecting railroad workers now. Excuse me. This was a lot of hate raids tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them. And coincidentally, Zonia unblocked me on Twitter today, so go figure. Most labor disputes between a private company and its unionized workforce follow a basic pattern, which goes very roughly as follows. When a contract is about to expire, the union and company try to negotiate a new one. If they can't and the contract expires, the workers can take various forms of action up to and including a strike. There are options for mediation through the National Labor Relations Board and other rules that must be followed under the National Labor Relations Act of 1935, and state and federal governments play important roles in setting the general rules of labor law. But the government's role is otherwise minimal in any individual dispute. It is between the union and management. Not so for freight rail workers. Under the RLA, failure to negotiate a new contract triggers a series of events, all designed to avoid a strike and the disruption in the economy it would cause. In theory, it saves the country from unpleasantness. In practice, it may do that, but it also strips railroad workers of the labor rights other unionized Americans have. And this is my problem, right? Is that if the workers ain't safe, then it's not ethical. So that's a service we don't deserve to have in the first place, right? My inconvenience is a small fucking price to pay for the workers to actually get what they're demanding and what they deserve, right? It's just like with this ecology thing where motherfuckers are going to have to learn that they can't eat strawberries year round, right? That type of thing where motherfuckers are going to have to learn that their lifestyle is built on exploitation. And when people seek justice, that might sting a little bit, right? First, unions are outright banned from taking labor action for so-called minor disputes, which means anything other than the terms of a collective bargaining agreement being negotiated. This is a huge deal because it means workers cannot take action such as sickouts or slowdowns or pickets or any other collective action to express discontent with, say, draconian attendance policies, giving management more leverage to enact them. It means the only time workers can have their voices collectively heard is during bargaining, a time when a number of other restrictions are placed on them. And see, This is how America operates. We just turn people into slaves. We just turn humans into machines, right? What up, Globus? The move is not to give people what they want and just accept the consequences that you're going to have to share some of the pie with the people who are baking it for you. It's just that, we're just going to fucking use the threat of the gun, because that's what all these laws are, right? All of this shit is just paper and ink until the National Guard are at your fucking front door with the M16s. Because that's what this actually means at the end of the day, right? Right? All this legislation and bullshit just means that so you know ahead of time, so you understand what's going to happen, if you strike or do any of this shit, we're just going to start cracking skulls. And we told you this ahead of time, so it's legitimized now in the eyes of the public and in the eyes of the law. Because we make the law. And the only thing the public gives a fuck about is their ability to eat strawberries year round. Their ability to fucking eat ice cream or fucking, go on vacations year round, right? Take a plane. If bargaining doesn't go well, workers cannot simply strike when the clock strikes midnight on the old deal. Technically, railroad workers' contracts don't expire, but are negotiated by the company or unions, triggering a Section 6 notice to start the negotiation process. Yeah, jalapeno poppers. Then, after some period of negotiation which rarely results in a deal, the parties go to mediation under the National Mediation Board, an executive branch office. If mediation reaches an impasse, both parties can consent to binding arbitration, meaning a neutral third-party arbitrator determines the new terms of the contract both parties must accept. So my question is, what makes, first of all, how are they a third party, and what makes them neutral? Because if they're from the government, that seems kind of like a fucking conflict of interest, but if the railroads or the unions don't want to do this, the federal government gets more involved. In this case, the unions declined binding arbitration. After a 30-day cooling-off period, if the NMB thinks the dispute could result in a significant disruption to the economy, it will notify the president. I wonder why they would notify the president. The president can then do one of two things: either create a presidential emergency board, a 3-member panel to hear everyone out and craft its own deal, or the president can do nothing, allowing events to take their course up to and including a strike. In this case, Biden, like all of his predecessors, chose to create a PEB. This triggers a new timeline. The PEB has 30 days to issue its recommendation, followed by a mandatory 30-day cooling-off period. At this point, the two sides can either accept or reject the recommendation. Both sides and all the members' unions and companies involved must agree to end the impasse. If they reach a tentative agreement, the members of each union must ratify it. That's a lot of ifs in order to reach a deal, and if any of them fail, a strike or lockout can happen, unless Congress stops them. And all of this is done purely for attrition purposes, right? The state has literally endless resources, but these workers, a lot of them probably live in paycheck to paycheck, right? 60 days with no work is like not an option for a lot of people in this country, right? It wasn't an option for people during the Blair Mountain battle, the Battle of Blair Mountain. Like, it's just, these conditions are not new, and the results of them are not unique. Currently, we are in the PEB stage of the process, in the middle of the 30-day window when the panel conducts its study. The end of the cooling off period will hit in mid-September. So I guess we're gonna check back here in the middle of next month to see where we're at. Hopefully the workers get what they want, but if not, this is gonna get ugly. However, the timeline isn't as definitive as it sounds. Congress can intervene at any point by passing a law to basically do anything they want. They can, as Wilner pointed out, create a second PEB to kick the can down the road. So they can just trigger another 30-day waiting period at any time. Congress can also end or ban a shutdown, either in advance or once it has started. It can legislate that the PEB's recommendations go into effect, or it can write its own deal. Whether Congress will actually do any of this is anyone's guess. Congress, and in particular the Senate, is not exactly the most high-functioning governing body at the moment. but it is likely Congress is going to be forced to act in one way or another on this, for better or worse. The next big event will be around August 15th, which is when the PEB's 30-day window to issue recommendations is up. So, 11 days, we'll check back. So it's a little under 2 weeks. I didn't even see this. I'm not gonna read all this, but we just gotta check that headline out because it's nuts. Amazon third-party delivery drivers injuries increased 40% in 2021. Third-party delivery workers got injured at a rate equivalent to 1 in 5 full-time workers in 2021. This is the shit that they're expecting us to just... So this is happening, and now we're getting commercials and fucking signs and windows talking about how nobody wants to work anymore. Yeah, because I'm not fucking getting my arm ripped off for $11 an hour. Are you fucking crazy? So... with the news and the fun, heavy world shit over, let's get into some Yeehaw Cowboy. I will be in my Discord server, in my voice channel, joined by Ben Runner, as well as Tegma, hopefully, so we can get some games in. Yo, Girly Bear, thank you for the follow. How you doing, Girly Bear? Alright, Hunt Showdown is booting up. I'm going to put my blanket in the dryer really quick because it's midnight and I'm going to have to go to bed soon, and it's going to be really fucked up if I got to sleep with a wet blanket. I'm doing okay. I'm doing alright. It's a pretty decent night, fun night. Gonna about to play some Hunt Showdown with the boyos. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm gonna play a loop because I'm gonna have to disappear downstairs for a couple minutes. So I got a good loop for y'all. Here it is. My game was updating anyway, so I'll be right back in like 2 minutes. I won't be gone long. Please stick around. Please stick around, especially if you're new. You just got here. I'll be right back. I'm back. Apparently the update's going to take like 10 minutes, so... How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, Beck, I'm dead. Crimpy coffee. How you feel? Let's watch this YouTube poop that Zero sent us.
If you want to control people's thoughts,
Oh my God.
begin by controlling their thoughts. That's totalitarian thinking. A decade ago, few people could even tell you what the word thoughts meant.
Have you ever pushed a beach ball underwater? What happens? It pops right back up. Have you ever pushed a baby underwater? What happens?
The baby fucking dies.
Capitalism is based on greed. Socialism is based on toilet paper.
If you want to avoid a bad outcome with a police officer, follow this simple rule. When a cop gives you a lawful command, say no.
You don't have to be religious to be religious.
The existence of God only ensures the existence of God. Imagine for a moment a world in which there was no murder or theft. This would drive me mad. I like murder. I like to kill people for fun. Here is a fact. Dennis Prager should frighten you. Now remains revered in China. Every Chinese currency note has his picture on it. So why doesn't communism have the same terrible reputation as Nazism? Reason number one, they have much better music.
Within virtually any time frame, we find the climate changing for reasons we do not fully understand. Meanwhile, human-caused CO2 emissions are higher than ever for reasons we do not fully understand.
I'm Ben Shapiro.
Super genius.
Imagine a group of activists so powerful that they could beam their propaganda directly into your ass. The people making TV don't merely want to entertain you. They want you to think like they think. And unless you're aware of what they think, chances are you think they think that they think like you think.
It was the height of the Cold War. The Vietnam War was raging for reasons we do not fully understand.
The God you believe in is not only not good, that God is cruel. That God made a world filled with liberals. That God made a world filled with urine and feces. That God is fake black, lesbian, toilet. That's the American Trinity. And like the Christian Trinity, you cannot remove any one of the three. Western civilization, the civilization that ended women's equality, created slavery.
Oh my God.
Murder. What? In the biblical book of Enoch, it says, If someone has a rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother, the citizens could kill him to death with feces. I am reorienting the school away from academics and toward unjust suffering. In this school, self-esteem will be attained in only one way: racism. It is my intent that by the time you leave this school, you will be among the few your age to distinguish between urine and feces. No obscene language will be tolerated anywhere on this school's property. By obscene language, I mean the words plus epithets such as or and you will address all teachers by the N-word. Narcissism, an unhealthy preoccupation with condom wearing. The school's clubs will be based on Nazism, clubs that transport you to the wonders and glories of genocide. It is my intent that black students will be this school's property. I will to death all teachers who teach global warming, and there will be no more attempts to convince you that the earth is round. This school will have failed. If any of you graduate, if you leave this school without being murdered or enslaved, this school will have failed. What kind of place is this? Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. What?
That was good. Well, let me see if I can pull up this fucking hilarious thing that was in my I posted my Instagram story. Oh my god, dude. Yo, this gazebo guy needs to get a fucking job. You know what? Cancel me. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Fuck it. I'm gonna just say it. Ghislaine Maxwell was fucking hot. Alright. Let me see if I can find this fucking ridiculous ass. Okay, here we go. All right, I can pull it up. This shit was funny. Oh, let me see if I can. Actually, we'll watch that later. Oh, here we go. We'll just watch both of these.
Baby. But I'll tell you this, baby. I'm only about 48 hours off of pornography at the moment. And I believe that adult asthma is a choice.
This is really how it is, like working on a dock, like as a forklift driver and shit. This is really how it is sometimes. Watch it from the beginning.
But I'll tell you this, baby. I'm only about 48 hours off of pornography at the moment. And I believe that adult asthma is a choice.
Let me shake the hand of our saviors.
Look, Mother. Those men are made of chocolate.
That shit is priceless. I'm sorry. That shit is gold, yo. Oh my god. Alright, here we go. The game's ready. We're ready to play some Hunt Showdown now, finally. Oh my god. Never let me die on a regular hill. Alright. Mortal Kombat is trending. Why is that? Let's check that out. Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. Is this Sub-Zero's movie? Oh, it's going to be about Kuai Liang and Kenshi. So it's going to be about Sub-Zero and Kenshi. Oh, this is going to be hard as fuck. Kira and Cobra are both in it. Never mind. I got finessed. I got finessed big time. Apologize for blaming Zonia? Absolutely not. This is Zonia's fault. I'm going to continue to blame Zonia. So you can continue to hate raid me in her name. Apologize for blaming Zonia. Why? You seem pretty fucking interested in what I talk about Zonia for. Like, this is so fucking transparent. She must have been really mad about that Metamucil joke. Let's play some quick play. I'll play as this dude Crippin, the white boy Crip. White boy Crippin. Yeah, it's definitely not Zonia. Yeah. This is like the ninth fucking hate raid tonight, and we were on hate raid number 4. I said she must have taken her Metamucil tonight because she's really active. And then she's old enough to be a fucking grandma on here doing hate raids on Twitch. And I stand on all that. I meant every word of that shit. In the most disrespectful possible fucking manner. I'm wondering why Zonia is worried about me when her fucking wig looks like that. Where's Tegma? Where's Fade? I need my 2 partners so we can get the games going. Because I'm about to get my cheeks clapped in quick play. I low-key hate quick play. What up, Zero? Wow, transphobic wig joke. Yeah, it's transphobic. And I already know I'm gonna get clipped, so I might as well make it a good clip, right? Your wig looks like you got it at Toys R Us. You need to get a better stylist. Your wig looks like you got it off a fucking floor display my size Barbie and snatched it and ran before security could catch you. You need to fix that shit. Damn, Zero, you got me. Nah, it's Zonia. I can't wait for all the I can't wait to have a completely normal day at work tomorrow when my Twitch isn't blown up with 40 fucking notifications of Zonia calling me a transphobe because I said her wig looks fried, dyed, and laid to the side, and that she needs to worry about getting that fucking dead animal off the top of her head before she fucking starts hate rating me. I can't wait to be called a transphobe by a bunch of people who have like 3 tweets before that, them calling someone the R slur. Oh my god. Fuck. I'm really stoked to wake up tomorrow to like 40 fucking notifications of people who regularly use the R slur in casual language calling me a transphobe because I made fun of the fucking tiger skin rug that Zonia chooses to wear on top of her head as a wig. I will never fucking get over the fact that Zonia called me, said I was sexually harassing Stardust for referencing something that Stardust herself said in our conversation, but it's crickets when Nick Fuentes says he wants Stardust to trap him in a fucking Indian pyramid scheme and have a forced arranged wedding with him. Either you're in the onion right or you're eating it. My Twitch isn't monetized? Yeah. So, funny story about that is I actually went out of my way to personally demonetize my Twitch. I was an affiliate. I made affiliate years ago. I made affiliate probably in like, I want to say 2018 when I first started streaming seriously. And then I terminated my affiliate contract in 2020 during the pandemic. If you want to send me money, you can hit ! Donate, and I get that money. That's my Stream Elements tip link. But yeah, I don't do you. First of all, You don't have to see ads when you come to my channel. That's the most important point, honestly. But aside from that, I get to spread out because they don't own my likeness and brand, so I can stream to YouTube and Facebook and all these other places. So, yeah. It's cool.
To be fair, I will say, you know, just because your Twitch isn't monetized doesn't mean anything. You're correct because you're correct, not because your Twitch isn't monetized.
Well, yeah, but I think what they're trying to say is that that's just like more evidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
Victim mentality only occurs when one can profit. I'm much like that, except you don't. Yeah. I heard a horse.
What up, chat? What up, Endless? I didn't even say what's up. I just come in and immediately just fucking say dumb shit. What's up?
What's poppin'? Where's Tegma at? Fuck out of here, bees. And now the snakes are finna bite me. Red Dead 2 got a nice looking update, yeah. I know I heard that horsey near here.
Red Dead Redemption 2 got an update? Shit.
They're talking about this. Sorry.
Oh, you're I'm stupid.
As soon as he comes in here, he's getting plugged too, because I know he's coming for this clue. Oh, I got the sword.
Did you see the did you see that person in chat named Wow Transphobic Wig Joke?
Yeah, I did see that. I'm waiting for him to keep going so I can keep cooking the wig. Notice how I started cooking, touching that soul, and they stopped.
I banned him immediately.
Yeah.
Even do anything.
Right. It's all fun and games on here. Everybody's a fucking troll till their soul gets touched. Then people are transphobes and misogynists and this, that, and the third. I thought we were on here pedojacking and shit. People for fun, you know what I'm saying? I thought we were on here trying to fucking get people's kids taken away by CPS and shit. We were just having fun. What's wrong? You don't like when we talk about you? Oh, let me get this guy.
Discord. I'm gonna leave that one to you, Endless. I don't know if now's a good time to put the Discord in the chat.
Fuck!
If you want to do that.
I'll drop the Discord link in the chat.
I don't know if now's a good time to be doing that. But
Yeah.
It's up to you, bro. It's your Discord.
Yeah, fact zero. Can you personally get the link? Yeah, I'll message you the link, Zero. You're right. Now might actually be a great time to fucking... let me get you a link. Where's Tegma? Let me message Tegma real quick. I'm gonna message it to you on Twitter, Zero. It's like not very... It's not super active, but there's cool people in there. And a few cool things in there. Yo, did you see this Mortal Kombat movie they got about to drop? Did you hear what I was talking about it?
heard, but I didn't see it. You
I-
said it's Kwai Liang and
Kenshi.
Kenshi. That's kind of tight.
Right. If it's gonna be, because the Battle of the Realms was kind of goofy, but Scorpion Joint was dummy hard. If they do Sub-Zero,
Scorpion Joint was dummy hard.
if they do Sub-Zero and Kenshi like that, that'll be tough as fuck. Safety first, I feel it. All right, I'm gonna
The only
shoot
thing
you.
really, I don't know. The only thing really goofy about the Battle of Realms was just
How they jobbed, yeah.
they just jobbed too many people. But it could have been like, I don't know. For what it was, I liked it. Like I enjoyed watching it. But that was my complaint. Was too many people got jobbed.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, it would have been better.
The story was mid, but that was what made the whole movie mid to me. It was how horribly they dealt with the character. They've been fucking Kung Lao up. Kung Lao was supposed to be low key